What's up? Welcome to a new episode of Movie Schmovie. This is episode number 492. My name is Steve. I'm one of the co-hosts of the show, and as always, I'm joined by
Ron.
This is where your finger comes down, like.
I got it. You look like a bollock with one L. John. That's me.
That's you.
Not the bollock with one L. I'm the guy who said that someone else looks like a bollock with one L. Which I was. It's
Just
a
to
funny
make that
line.
clear, yeah.
It's a funny line, but also it's like it doesn't make sense because if you think of what a bollock is, it's a nut, right? Like bollocks are. That's your ball sack, right? Isn't it?
You tell me. I don't know.
Well,
I did
what's your
not
understanding
realize
of
that.
bollocks? When a British person says bollocks, what's your understanding of what bollocks means? I think
Well,
it means balls.
Yeah, it's balls. Yeah.
Okay, so you look like a
You
bollock
look-
with one L.
you look like
Is a nonsense insult because
Yeah.
bollocks don't look like they have two L's in them.
Yeah.
So, that really threw me for a loop. That was early in the movie, and I spent the rest of the movie trying to visualize how a bollock could look like it has one less L. Anyway, it's a thought-provoking question.
It is.
The
It
deep
is for
stuff to
sure.
Take away from it.
Very much so. So how's it going, fellers?
Going well, man. Sitting
Yeah.
in there.
Happy belated Father's Day. Is that what?
That's what you're supposed to say.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
happened. Yeah, that happened.
Happy belated. How was everybody's Father's Day? I guess.
I don't know if you guys got the memo, but I officially received this reward.
Oh, I didn't get when I didn't get mine this year.
There was a
I
press
wondered.
release, for it that newly crowned right here.
No,
Gotcha.
around midday, I was like, I don't think I'm getting it this year, but I didn't know who got it.
Yeah.
At least it stayed in our. At least it stayed on
Yeah,
the
no,
pod.
honestly,
Yeah,
that's actually kind of a wild coincidence.
Yeah,
it's
You got it. You may have gotten the John Walker bump in a way,
I definitely did. Yeah, for sure.
Mm.
No, it's good, man. Yeah, just spent the whole day at the pool with the fam, with the kids. Just a good day.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, man.
That's good.
Can't ask for much more.
Well, Henry worked,
Dang, that man has a job.
but he's
That's what
making that
happens right
money,
there. Yeah,
so he
gotta
can
make
turn
that.
around and immediately spend it. I'm always impressed.
At least it's not
Periodically,
yours.
sometimes I'm very impressed at like the money that he's piled up, and I'll be like, "Man, this young man is saving some money." And then like a few days later, it's like, "What? No."
That was
But,
quick.
but there's a new hoodie in the situation somehow.
Mm.
Yeah, sure.
No, yeah. So, but we hung out. I can't remember what we did. I grilled some food so that when he got home from work, there was something to eat. And,
Nice.
we got to hang out, and he gave me a
Jeez.
Lego set. You've seen the one that looks like an old Polaroid? It's like a
Yeah.
They have
Oh.
like the full size ones. Yeah,
Yeah.
the old Polaroid Lego. Set.
That's
Those are
really
fun.
cool.
Very
Those are fun
nice.
to put together. So
Um,
that will be like a nice little. Haven't gotten to that. I can reward myself with some Lego set time, but it's always nice to like have an afternoon and say
Sure.
I'm going to put together my little toy.
Sure.
Saying, Ronald.
I took my daughter to food market in Hamden and got her some bougie breakfast. She complained about the French toast. I was like, maybe this is a little too fancy. Let me try it. And I cut up a French toast before I tried it, and I said, "This does not taste good." You're right.
Was it too elevated? Or, like, did you think
It was-
this is
You
okay, but
overworked
it's
this
not,
French
it's not
toast?
good French toast, or were you like, this has been turned into something bad?
It just didn't have the basic elements. Like it didn't taste like it had like an egg wash. It didn't have any cinnamon flavor. It just tasted like regular bread heated up with syrup on it. My daughter was like, "What is this?" she's like, "It's French toast." So I made her promise that if she ate her
She
at
hates
least
the French now.
she hates the French and she hates the toast. So once I was like, "Look, how about we make an agreement? If you eat all your fruit or at least most of it, I'll take you to get a snowball." And she said, "Okay." And we got her first snowball, which, man, it's that like elevated snowball place that's across the street from Food Market that's in kind of like a bunker.
Oh, yeah.
Man, she put so much candy on it. She's like sprinkles and gummy worms, and she loved it.
That's awesome.
My sister came along. Man, she took this. I normally don't even show pictures, man. But this picture is so interesting to me because she like, if you can see it.
That's nice.
Oh, that's nice.
She's like holding my arm.
That's
Yeah, that's
cute.
great. She's like, let's get out of here. This French toast is no good.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. It's like it's poop.
It's like, follow me, Dad. I got a better idea.
Never
Um,
going to France.
I didn't realize like how affectionate she was, man. Like she just is very like every once in a while she just get up with her seat, kiss me on the cheek, and said she loved me, and that made my day, man. I
Yeah,
was
man.
like, oh, it's
That makes it all better.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that age is so sweet too, where they really
Yeah,
are like so like into you, for lack of a
yeah,
better
yeah,
way of
yeah.
Yep.
putting it. So
Yep.
you can really like make their day just by like being around and being funny or being whatever. It's like that's so awesome. That picture really that's an incredibly sweet picture. She's also
Thanks.
tiny. She's itty
Yes,
bitty.
she's itty bitty, and she's it's crazy because she's getting taller, but she is itty bitty, and
Yeah.
it's crazy because everybody's like approaching me like Doc Brown about the future. They're like, love her now, cause she'll hate you. She's gonna hate you in the future.
I think people overstate all that shit. I feel
They
like
do,
before you get
man.
married, before you have kids, there's these people that just like love to like jump out of the bushes and
Yeah,
try to horrify you.
yes.
And it's like it's not that way. That
Yeah,
doesn't
in the Doc
happen.
Brown jacket. Great Scott.
Great Scott, Ronald, you're not ready.
I'm just gonna hate you in the future.
And you're like, yeah, that's part of the program. As long as she comes back around, it's
Right.
all right. But she's gonna hate you at some point.
Right. It's so crazy.
Doors will be slammed.
Oh man. Great Scott. uh, but yeah, it's good to hear you guys had a good day, man. You deserve it. You deserve it.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Um,
Yeah, my Father's Day present to myself was that workshop I went to, that sketch writing workshop
that was so cool,
with
man.
Kevin
Very cool.
McDonald from Kids in the Hall. Yeah, that was incredibly cool because it was like, it was just, I mean, I think there were, I don't know, 8 or 9 people in the thing, and then it was him, and we were there for like 4 hours, and it was
Mhm.
very, one-on-one. Like there were lots of moments of interaction, but he basically
Sure.
turned the group into a writer's room, and everybody pitched their sketch, and like you were supposed to come in with one premise, and he said he didn't. I had 20, but I had to pick one, and he said he used to let people come in with more than one, but he said the workshop is called "Turn Your Premise into a Sketch," not "Let me help you pick a premise." But like, so you had to come up with like the one sentence line of your
Sure.
sketch, and then he would like say, "All right," and open it up to the group, and you would spend maybe 10-15 minutes as a group talking about it. And like he would turn that into a writer's room situation where people would pitch ideas, and then when he thought you
cool.
had enough like beats for your sketch, he would say, "I think you've got enough, right?" And you would move on to the next person's pitch. So you really had the opportunity to like have sort of a master of the sketch form, kind of like jumping around. Like he was like
That's
acting
awesome.
out characters and saying, "I want to play this guy." Like it was like he was totally getting people jacked about their ideas. And then
That's awesome.
before that, the first half was him kind of just telling stories about certain sketches they wrote and talking about the process, like talking about their process and picking like a few examples of like, here's a good example to talk about this way that we wrote sketches, because he was kind of giving you the not so much the method, but like the philosophy behind the way they would write sketches. So it was it was really eye opening. And I don't know, you have those moments. I don't know if you ever realized that like, oh, I can still. I need to keep learning. Like just because I'm not planning to go back and get a degree, I should still be on the lookout for like opportunities to, like
Definitely.
even just for a few hours being mentored by somebody that you respect their work so much in that way was really cool. But also it made me realize how much like it's not so much about a format. Like with sketches, it's so wide open. It's more about making sure that you're satisfying an idea that you can pay off in the course of hopefully not too many minutes. And he said they were real fans of the 6-page sketch. That like they thought that if it was too much longer than that, then it might be repeating the same joke.
Oh, cool. 6 pages and that's it.
Yeah.
Wow. That's eye opening. That
Well,
alone is
if you
eye
think
opening.
about a half-hour episode with 5 or 6 sketches in it, that's about
Yeah.
1 page a minute. That
Yeah.
works out. But I mean, the point of like where you should be around the bottom of page 4, even if you're writing something longer, it's a useful thing to think about. Oh yeah, around this time you should be at this point, and he kind of made that clear. Like, oh, this is where you should be
Right.
at page 2. This is where you should be at page 4. Anyway,
That's
I've
awesome.
I've told people I will talk about it probably for a long time, and even if you don't want me to, I'll probably talk about this because it was just such
It's
a
a
cool,
cool experience, man.
Yeah,
It
it's
really,
crazy,
really
man.
was. And the fact that he was cool, if somebody's like, too often those people that you admire, you find out maybe you shouldn't have. He was really a great teacher and a great guy. So I don't know, Kevin McDonald, if you're listening, thanks for the tips, the writing tips.
It's pretty cool.
Very nice.
I want to talk about some miscellaneous celebrity news that I found out. That's kind of cool. So there's a rap group called Czarface that consists of Inspector Deck from Wu-Tang Clan, the producer 7L, and Esoteric that's from Boston. So Frank, our mutual friend that we worked with at the fruit stand, told me about Czarface years ago. Didn't think anything of it, and Czarface has a new album coming out with a rapper named Frank. Oh my goodness, Frank Pulitzer. So I look Frank Pulitzer up, and guess who it is? Tom Hardy.
What?
Tom Hardy is doing a rap album with Inspector Deck. Like, and apparently, so I've heard him rap before. Like, if you look him up, he can actually rap his ass off. Like, it's a weird thing where he's like, so he has this. They have this single out called Brothers Grimm. The full album's coming out in August, and he's collaborating with Inspector Deck and Esoteric of the Czarface. They're making a whole album together, and it features Method Man, Busta Rhymes, and a couple other rappers. It's crazy. It blew
That's
my
wild.
mind. Blew my mind, man. Czarface featuring it's called Czarface meets Frankie Pulitzer, and that's Tom Hardy's rap name, Frankie Pulitzer.
Wow.
Yes,
Things you didn't expect to hear right there.
did not expect to see it or hear the song, and it's really good. It's wild.
He
crazy.
isn't he on a show or something now?
Mobsters.
Okay.
What? Mobland.
Yeah, Mobland. Yeah.
He was. Apparently, he's off the show.
Oh no.
Yeah, you didn't see all the news about that? Like maybe 2 weeks ago? Yeah, there was like apparently uh what I can't remember what they said. Like I don't know if the show is canceled or if he's not on the show anymore.
I mean,
But
isn't he like the anchor? It's like him
yeah,
and Pierce Bronson.
yeah, it said something
Pierce
about oh
Bronson.
wait, now this Variety article that came out a week later says
Psych.
oh, hold on, this is things are moving. Was not fired, Variety's confirmed, despite rumors swirling since last week that it would not return. Huh.
It says psych
May-
fool you coming back.
Maybe not. I mean, I don't know.
Oh damn
But,
it.
but apparently, like all this stuff was coming out at the end of at the end of May about like, just production problems with him and just
Oh
being
wow.
difficult and things like that. But that he wasn't coming back. But I don't know. Maybe that changed.
I think I know one of his songs, Ronald. Now that I think about it.
Really?
I'm Bane. Yes, that's my name. When you hear the name, I guarantee the pain. Remember that?
Yeah.
That like the dub where someone turned that scene at the football
Yes.
stadium into Bane freestyling.
I like that, man.
Yeah, that's hilarious. It was one of those early internet things that I feel
Yeah,
like had a
yeah.
long life. It was like post uh Sesame Cake.
Yeah.
But it was
Oh, I
in
love
that sweet
Sesame.
spot of a video that's going to get shared a million times,
Yeah, yeah.
So yes, the Bane rap. Look for it, folks. Bane's freestyle. Well, Steve, perhaps you should answer for this film that you, this depressing
Yeah.
film. Yes. Required
Uh,
viewing. Let's talk about
Required
it.
viewing, yeah. So I picked a movie called Wasteman. Sorry, Wasteman. Again, this is one of those movies I've just been seeing a lot of people talk about on my feeds. I really like David Johnson. We talked about him a few times recently. I think maybe in the Romicus Comicus conversation with Rye Lane. And honestly,
Mm.
he's had a great run recently.
Also, the
Like,
Romulus
the
Comulus.
Romulus, Comulus, the long
Understood.
Walkulus, something whatever that one be. The
The
Longulus,
Longulus
Walkulus.
Walkulus.
Yeah. Like my guy's doing well. We're the pod's a fan of his, and yeah, I just had heard really great things about this movie. Great reviews. Again, I mentioned like some BAFTA nominations and wins.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like it's a smaller movie. It's a prison crime drama. And yeah, I just was like, this is the time to watch it, and I thought that maybe he might come up in the context of Rye Lane coming off of Office Romance
Yeah.
and the thing. So I was like, okay, now's my chance to kind of stay talking about him in some positive way, hopefully. And I mentioned Wasteman, and that was our pick. Had you guys heard of it briefly? I mean, awareness at all, or
Have I
you,
seen it? Have I heard of it?
well, had you heard of it when I mentioned it or when I showed it?
Yeah,
Heard
yes.
of it?
I'd seen the poster.
Okay.
I was very excited to see it, but then prison dramas are hard
Mm-hmm.
watches, man.
Yeah.
But I would watch anything with him in it, so
Yeah.
I was pretty excited
And,
when.
yeah, and Tom Blythe is also in it. I'm not super familiar with him. I recognize him from some other stuff I'd seen, but I mean, I think he specifically I think he's the one that got the nomination, the BAFTA
Yeah, I looked it up.
nomination.
I was like, oh, I know this guy. Where do I know
Yeah.
him from? And I was like, I have only seen the Hunger Games. I think that's the only thing I've seen that he was in. The the
He was in
prequel.
that Billy the Kid series.
See, I didn't watch that.
I mean, I've watched like a couple episodes, but I just know I saw like ads for it
I felt
all the
like I was really
time.
familiar with him watching this though, and then
Me too.
Yeah.
I thought there was going to be some role where he was a little younger that I was really familiar with, and I was like, it just wasn't there. But I must really remember that he's got like a penetrating stare.
Oh, dude.
He does,
I just
man.
remember that face. I guess if I watched that Hunger Games prequel again, I would go, oh. I now I realize why I'm remembering him because he does
Yeah.
make an impression in this way or that. But yeah, I thought I knew him more. But man, when he comes in, he just brings that.
Yeah,
It's
he's
that. I mean,
magnetic, man. He's
it's
like,
almost like though we should. It's a fun subtopic of characters who come in and instantly like the danger level of the movie goes up when this
Yes.
character
through the
walks
roof.
in.
Yeah.
When he came into the cell, just as a little setup, our lead David Johnson is playing a guy named Taylor who's in prison for he was selling drugs and he accidentally sold some bad drugs to some kids who died.
Yeah.
And so he's in prison and he's about to be released because he's a nonviolent criminal and they think that he's no threat. Um, and he's got like it's a little cliche, I guess, in that sense, but it's also like so simple. It just really sets you on the path of this movie. That he
Yeah.
starts off the movie finding out you're going to go home as long as nothing comes up for 2 weeks or whatever. Now
Yeah.
fill out this form, and he goes back to his cell, and then his new cellmate is this live wire
Yeah.
guy who totally brings like that sense of oh well, how is he going to survive 2 weeks, let alone 2 minutes with this guy in his room? So and that's Tom Blythe. And yeah, so
Yeah.
David Johnson's saddest face in the world, and then
Jesus.
Tom Blythe's
Man.
most penetrating gaze in the world.
Yeah.
They're stuck in a little room together, and you don't even think about that aspect until that fight scene towards the end. It's like a close quarters fight scene. I love it when somebody pays off a almost like an action movie concept, but in a very grounded way. But
Yeah.
that scene was crazy, like the way they're like
It
weaving through
was.
the bunk bed and like rolling on the floor, and yeah,
Yeah.
it's just it was really. But yeah, the guys have great chemistry, and they play so many different angles on it in the movie.
Looking at the BAFTA, it wasn't Tom Blythe. It was a combination of the director and writers
Oh, wow.
were nominated for like outstanding debut.
Mm.
And I don't think they won it, but I mean, just awesome to be. I mean, I guess maybe to be in the conversation, but yeah, Cal McMahon is the director.
Are you
Um,
suggesting it's an honor just to be nominated?
I think so. Yeah, it's always good to be able to splash that thing on your
Yeah,
poster or your ad. But yeah, I mean, the movie works so well. because of their chemistry together and their
Yeah.
dynamic together. They're kind of, the way they're playing off one another. Like one minute, you got like they're really kind of sliding into a comfortability with one another, especially with Taylor's view of him. Um, and you're like he can relax. He's like relaxing at moments, and then you can see immediately certain things happen, and you can see him get so tense and
Hmm.
concerned. Like to your point, John, like the facial expressions that David Johnson is capable of is just like it's very sad looking, but there's a lot of moments beyond just sadness. When he's talking to his son finally, or when he gets a text
Yeah.
message back, like little things. Like there's definitely like a spectrum of really interesting emotions and takes that he is able to do in this film that are great. And also, and I mean, and even and Tom Blythe, I mean, there are moments like, when he's, you know, being more vulnerable, even though he's so like,
Yeah.
violent and mean and has this like facade of just like dominance in especially among over Taylor. But there's definitely moments where like you can see him concerned or maybe even scared. And I
Yeah.
think that the fact that both of them get to go through that separately and in certain moments together, I thought was really great. I mean, it's yeah, prison dramas are tough to watch and like they're violent and they're uncomfortable and certain things are really really tough to see. But I mean, like I thought this was incredible. I gotta say, like I thought the performances were great.
Yeah.
I love the inner cuts of like the film the prisoner footage
Yeah.
of what's
Yeah.
Yeah,
happening
yeah, I
throughout the
thought that
movie.
was really jarring, especially early in the movie. That was really it kept resetting you into the chaos and the sort of like I don't know. You felt like just like that opening scene
Yeah.
made you feel so claustrophobic and so
Yes.
like scared and it's like in danger. Even if it's a brightly lit room and there's like people
Yeah,
crowded
like all
around,
the
that
lights are on and there's 20 people there.
there's something totally horrible that can happen in that setting. So yeah, I think that though every time it came back to those, you kind of remembered that opening scene and were like braced for whatever. But there was always a little bit of storytelling in those, or a little
Yeah.
bit of commentary almost on the movie. No, I agree. I think this was a really well made film that really. I think at 90 minutes, it's. I think that
Yes, that's
that's.
key.
I think if this was 2.5 hours long, it might have been too not I still probably would have liked it, but I would be coming away talking about how fucking grim it was. But
Yes.
this movie does have that little crime thriller kick to it. It's like it is a prison drama, but it also has that like you're watching Taylor this whole movie and you're starting to you go through so many different feelings towards him. I at different times felt bad for him and other
Mm.
times thought like Jesus Christ,
I know.
this guy can't take two steps without falling, tripping on his own feet. And then you're waiting the whole movie for him to make a move. And then when he does, it's like, oh, this is the kind of thing a crime thriller gives you. Is they have
Yeah.
that
Exactly.
moment where the guy who you think is getting knocked around, where he makes a move, where he does something that
Oh
is
my God.
his own thinking and his own way out of a terrible situation, and then reveals an edge that you're like, oh, awesome! Now I know how to feel about this movie. The whole movie, I was sort of wanting to kick this guy and say,
Yeah.
don't just stand there and let people tell you what to do. Like,
Right.
but that whole thing of good behavior and don't get in trouble for 2 weeks. It's a perfect setup for why you would just be tying yourself in
Totally.
knots as to what to do and how to act. And plus, he is also an addict who is still suffering from that as the story rolls along. So yeah, no, great characters, especially the two leads. And I even liked at the end. I thought that second scene, or the second like scene where he goes and gives the haircut
Yes.
to those guys. That scene was like a masterfully tense scene because you don't know what way that scene is going to break. There's so many things that could happen in that moment, and those guys are sort of they seem more likable and more friendly in that moment than they have the whole movie. And it's you think, wait, do these guys actually care about him a little bit more maybe than
And
his
D.
cellmate
Yeah.
who's kind of manipulating him? But they're all trying to manipulate him, and they all look at him as a junkie. Like that's a very clear thing is they all kind of look down on Taylor,
Yeah.
but those guys actually seemed happy for him that he was getting out,
I
and
love that scene so much. Like, it's like on some level, there's a lot of like well, what do we say? Like, there are people that made mistakes, and there are people that have done a lot of bad things and wrong things and criminal things, and whatever wherever they fall, like if you compare Taylor versus D or other characters, other inmates that you get to meet in the course of the 90 minutes. But like I felt like I kept feeling that throughout the movie, like when Taylor would interact with like another inmate that was maybe working with D, but like they were kind of like they may have seen him a certain way, but like even though they were always looking out for themselves, like they still like sort of still like a humanity underneath of all of it.
Yeah.
And in certain situations, especially even after, those two guys make him do a horrible thing to D after they just like destroy him and, you know, release the video to make it even more hell for Taylor and things like that. And all these bad things that they've done to him and treated him. And, but the moment that there's a, like they learn that he's getting out, it's like not like a jealous thing. It's not like a resentment. It's more like a like good luck. Like
Yeah.
that moment of humanity, and it's an optimistic take on like what this could be. And I don't know. I just felt like the movie moving towards that direction, especially when you're feeling that just before you understand what is actually happening
Yeah.
with Taylor's like grand plan. It was just like a great series of realizations of like that there is a bit of humanity amongst these like bad people that have treated him like shit, but they're like sort of rooting for him still because he's still one of them in a way.
Yeah.
And then
Well,
you
they're not
see,
trying to fuck him up. Like that's the thing that I thought
yes,
was surprising was like, oh, they're not trying to mess up his chances of getting out. Whereas D is
exactly,
clearly not concerned about what he's
at
doing
all.
to Taylor.
Yeah, whether it's inside or outside, he starts
And
threatening
that's
his kid and stuff like
and
that.
that's the
Like,
devil's bargain that D makes is like
yes,
you think you're pushing around a soft person. Anyway, yeah, no, it
it
was
was
really
great.
cool.
It
Like
was
I
really
was
great.
glad that it took that slight turn that I was like, "Oh, okay, this has that little crime movie kick." It's not just a prison drama where it's just so
Not a
depressing and it's
lot
about this
happening.
guy who, when you find out what he did too, you're like, "Well, yeah, it makes sense that
Yes,
that he would lose everybody in his
it's
life
horrible.
after
Yeah,
doing that." So it's like but he still maybe deserves this second shot and you hope that he has a good relationship with his son, but you just don't have that much hope for any of it. And then also the way that D manipulates that, the way he works that angle
yes,
of threatening the son, it really, I mean, again, it's a very simple, dramatic situation, but they really create the perfect trap. Like, this guy is trapped. He has to play it totally right the whole movie, and we don't really feel like he is. And then, like I said, we see that he's got a little moxie. Um, so, yeah, I thought that was all very, very well done. Ronald, outside of getting over the sort of horror of a prison film, what like how did you feel about the kind of the character arcs of the two main guys?
Well, I have some like real life context for some of this stuff. So like Wasteman came out almost exactly the same time as a very controversial situation happened in London where a prison guard had sex with a prisoner. It was taped, and then the tape went out, almost in the same style of footage as the movie. It happened literally when Wasteman came out. Like it was a huge deal. The prison guard wound up getting like 15 months in jail. Pretty recently, she was convicted. But it was like it was weird. It was like this strange promotion of this movie because it was like we gotta deal with the UK prison system. Oh, Wasteman is out, but there's a foot. And so it was interesting. I'd really kind of honed into that story and didn't watch Wasteman because of it. So I fired it up the other day, and it was I have a strange relationship with prison. My uncles were in jail when I was a kid, so I was in jail quite a bit just to visit them. There's like these sounds that you hear that you don't forget, like the way the door sounds when it closes behind you, the pat downs that happen when you go, and you get this piece of information about a person. When you see them, they aren't quite like they're trying to be a version of themselves that they might not be normally. They're taking all their stress and they're throwing it behind them, and they're like, "Hey, what's up? How you doing? Good to see you." When they could have maybe just punched somebody in the face defending themselves. You know what I mean? Like that stuff is heavy, man.
Yeah.
And this movie portrays that in a way that you don't really see in movies very often. It just felt like this world within a world. That they had drones. The drone thing was crazy.
No,
Like
I
that guy's
actually wrote
operation
down
was like,
the drone scene was horrifying and funny. And I was
yeah,
thinking later, it's like, why did I think it was funny? And I think it was the absurdity of it that, like,
yeah, yeah,
because the way he reacts to it, it's like you see it and you instantly go, like, well, this is kind of ingenious, but
yeah,
it's
yeah,
also sort of stupid because it's so obvious.
yeah.
And he's like going, go away, go away. I don't know. It's like it was a moment of almost I didn't expect it to go there, and it's like, but anyway, I just wanted to underline that I think the drone thing was a really interesting wrinkle that whether that could really happen or not, it was a very
Oh
clever
yeah,
thing to introduce into the movie.
it's very obvious how jarringly different the American prison system is to the UK prison system. Like it's wild, man. Um, so it was interesting. I
Was
enjoy.
it more lax over there, or
Yeah, man, they were like watching TV and shit. Like
yeah,
they have like those are all weapons in the American prison
yeah,
system. Like they you can make a shiv, you can throw hot
right,
water in somebody's face, you can it's all stuff that it's banned pretty much in most prisons unless you're in like a halfway house that kind of serves as someone serving the rest of their prison time through that. But yeah, man, it was real. It felt real. The acting was incredible, and I want to see more things with that guy. And what's his name? The new actor that we hadn't really seen, the guy that came into the prison.
Tom Blythe,
Tom Blythe.
Oh man, that guy's charismatic as shit, man.
yeah,
He
just a
was
real live wire, and it was
yeah,
really dangerous. Like he's one of those guys who every scene he was in, he made you nervous for what might
yes.
happen, even when he was being like more friendly, because you know it's not going to stay that way.
I like
Right.
the juxtaposition of showing what everybody's
Yeah,
prison cell looked like. So it was like even the big time drug dealers that he was cool with had like some ramen and juice. This guy
yeah,
had juice, Jordans, PlayStation,
hmm,
an air fryer, a cell phone. He was living in a way that most people don't live outside. So it was nuts, man. It was cool the way that they introduced how different his life was than everybody else's.
Yeah.
hmm.
Yeah.
And it's like that. You think, oh, he's got something figured out, but then when those guys come in, he's like, well, no, he's just a guy who can be tossed. And like
Yeah.
that, the dynamic changed so much when that happened.
Yeah. God, they beat the shit out of that guy, man.
Yeah,
And then stabbed him and put cereal on. I was like,
I
man,
know.
how far is this gonna go? It's like, some cereal for you, you bitch. Uh, but yeah, I enjoyed it, man. The more I
You're right.
talk,
When people pour cereal on you,
it's
and you know
over.
what, they were generic rice puffs too. That's another thing you need to notice.
That probably was his complaint too. It's like, and they poured cereal on me, generic cereal.
Store brand. Um, but yeah, good
Yeah.
movie. I mean, it's
Great.
like
I
honestly,
love
I
it.
was wondering, am I going to come out of this thinking like this was good, but but instead it's like it ended up not completely dashing my heart into 1,000 pieces.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
only
yeah.
did it into like 100 pieces.
Right,
So
right.
because this
Yeah.
movie could have gone so many ways that would have been like movies can do that. They can just decide to go ahead and be a tragedy on you,
Yeah,
and you don't get to tell them not to. I'm kind of glad this movie did not go the completely tragic route.
yeah.
But it's
And
clearly like still a very a sad situation.
and to the director, thanks for going easy on the sexual assault. I mean, I was
Yeah,
expecting.
yeah,
I
yeah,
was like,
yeah.
I'm expecting some sexual assault. Thank goodness there was none in it. You
Yeah.
know, thank
So
God.
so that we can think about some other aspect of being in prison.
Right,
For
right,
once, yeah,
right, right. I mean, there was like a a BJ joke that was like
Yeah,
a little too crazy,
yeah,
and I was like, oh no. But then
right.
I think they did it on purpose though. I liked it. There was like,
I feel like I knew he was joking, but
yeah, yeah,
he did play it like very casual and straight. So it's like it would be easy to think for a second,
yeah,
oh, where's this going?
yeah.
You go to that site that tells you why stuff is rated what it's rated.
Right, right.
It's Common Sense Media. Is that the one that like they go
Yeah,
through? It's for the perspective of knowing what you
for
can
kids.
do for kids, right? But
Yeah.
what I always liked was it would give me the age. It would say like 15 to 17-year-olds, and Henry was
Mm,
like when he was 11 or 12 was like watching movies but it's like I knew that if it said that I was like, well, if as long as it's not, I would look and see. It's like, oh, if we're just talking about some curse words and some violence, Henry can handle that. But if it
right,
was anything
right, right.
sexual, I was like, okay, no. But it's amazing how few. I mean, I don't know. It's amazing, but you see a lot more violence than sex in movies now, like mainstream movies now.
Yeah, yeah. It's very
Sure.
It
true.
used to be that like an R-rated movie when we were kids was like a pretty good shot that it was going to have a sex scene. Whatever you think of sex scenes, some people don't like them. I'm just saying it's interesting that our culture is fine with violence, but kind of shrinks away from sex and nudity a little bit more now than they used to.
Yeah, it's wild, man. So who's next?
Oh,
Don.
that's me.
That's John.
That's me. Well, this is a movie that this is a movie. I thought
Mm,
I'd take a left
Good
turn and
start.
choose a movie.
okay.
This is a movie from 2021. I was looking for something that I had not seen, and I had not not on a list of movies that I was curious about, and I was hoping to find something more recent. And I was also thinking it would be cool to maybe do some international cinema, and I found a movie by a Congolese filmmaker named Jean-Luc Herbelot. This is a mixed genre film. I've seen it referred to as like a Western horror or like an action horror, but it is a movie called Saloum, Saloum. And I did look at the trailer, and it looked pretty cool. And I don't want to know too much more about it. So I don't really know much about this movie except that it's supposed to be pretty good. I looked at some of the reviews. A lot of the people seem to be saying that the first half is great and the last half it goes off the rails. But other people are saying that they like the whole movie. So I'm thinking it might be one of those things it's fun to talk about even if it does go off the rails. So,
Okay.
and I think I'm saying Saloum correctly. I don't think it's Salaum or anything like that. But Saloum.
How do we spell it?
Saloum.
Okay, okay. Salam. Oh, I've seen this.
Box office $5,078. I think it was a Shutter release.
Yeah, this was remember when we were like heavy into festivals?
Yeah.
We got this was like one of the bigger ones. One of the bigger festivals showed this.
Oh, it did. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, you'll be watching it again.
Cool, cool. Salam.
We'll try every possible way of pronouncing it.
Oh yeah, this looks familiar. All right, cool. Is it where is it at available? Do we know? 2.99 on Prime Video.
Yeah.
There we go.
It's not bad.
All right.
It's
All right,
also
so
hovering around an hour and a half too. I should mention that. That's another case.
buck
Actually, it's
24. Looks good.
84 minutes. Wow. It's
Buck
so
24. Yeah.
so Ronald, if Steve's last pick was like 90 minutes, mine is 84 minutes. Your next pick has to be like 75 minutes long.
Yes. It will be very short. It'll be like, hey guys.
You know what you could do though, honestly, if you wanted to pick ever like just an animated movie, there's so many
Yeah.
animated movies that are exactly 70, 75 minutes long. You could actually do it.
Am I imagining? But is there a Blair Witch movie coming out in
There is.
2027?
There is.
I thought I saw the little Twiggy.
Yes. That's the official name
Wait,
of it.
you thought you saw it like was it in the bushes outside your house? Because that's
Oh no. I saw a poster that said 2027 and it was just a little Twiggy thing. And I was like, oh no. I got scared for whoever's gonna be in this story. Cause
Well, I think the original folks are back except for Heather, who is no longer
That's
named Heather,
correct.
and I don't have her name. Do you know her current name, Steve? She goes by a
No.
different name now. But anyway, she has sort of stepped aside from all
Reed
Blair
or
Witch stuff.
Ray,
Yeah,
Rei.
yeah. She's I don't know if you know about that, Ronald, but she's kind of stepped away because she feels that she wasn't properly compensated for her contribution. You know, since it was kind of an improv style movie, a lot of the stuff is like the actors made it
get
up.
some new money.
Well, I think that I I I can see both sides of it in that sense. I do think it's crazy. It's like the what was it the costume or no that the production designer or set decorator for Obsession who
Obsession,
made
yeah.
news with like how much they made on the movie. And it's like, well, the reality is you get paid what you get paid if you're not participating in the profit. That is a bummer, but it's like the reality. You would like to think that it would lead to more work though.
Yes,
That
yes.
this is would
If
get you hired. I don't remember her doing much after that though. I remember her being on an episode of It's Always Sunny, but I
okay,
don't remember much else that she did.
but if they're like, come back, we're gonna make it up to you.
Make some new money.
Make
I see
some
what
new
you're
money.
saying.
Yeah,
Well, we don't know if maybe they were, you know, who knows? Who knows what they were offering?
yeah.
But the other fellows are back, I believe. So I don't know. That doesn't make me think anything about it because I feel like all the attempts to sequelize or reboot Blair Witch have had their problems, but they've also that last one I remember thinking it had like that last sequence was pretty scary.
It's awesome. Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that there's juice in that idea, but I don't really know what the juice is anymore because it's tough to know what direction they're going. I actually don't know anything else about the approach. Do you know anything about the approach they're taking, Steve?
Nothing.
So, but
Nope.
yeah, they're apparently leaving little twiggy things outside Ronald's place.
Yeah, trying to scare the shit out of me.
All right. What else we got here, guys? You got we all watched the new season 1 or season 3 episode 1 of House of the Dragon, yes?
Yes.
Mm. In the world of them thrones, as my friend likes to call it, them
Them thrones,
thrones,
them thrones.
them thrones. Um, man, one of the coolest sequences at the end of an episode that I've ever seen. Like
Just the battle or a
the
particular part
battle,
of the battle.
all of
Yeah.
it, even leading up to it was just filmed beautifully. Like
Just like
this,
your shot that keeps moving around.
yeah, this gimbal that keeps. I
Ooh.
don't know why it did it. I don't know why I did it this
Because you
time.
were talking about good filmmaking and the gimbal.
Oh
Like, I can
yeah.
do that.
A little scan and pan going on.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I feel like there were different parts of that sequence that were really just well staged and like
Yeah.
the fight once the ship was like lying in the half in the shallow water and the fight that happened like in the hold between
Yeah.
I don't know the name Loharo or something. I never did catch the name of that character. The leader of the Triarchy. And she was fighting with Corliss's son.
Yeah.
That whole sequence was just that part looked great, and then I thought where they were going through the narrow, straight, and it was a question of
Teeth.
whether their ships could, like that part was really cool too.
Yeah.
And then I honestly the dragon action. I hate to sound like a big dork about it, but like the effects just look great. Like
They
Look
did.
amazing, man.
every now and then the person on the back of the dragon
Yeah.
looks a little hinky.
Little
It doesn't
gummy.
quite match up. But in general, when one of those dragons comes flying up to the boats and the smoke is in the air and it's like it looks like a fucking real dragon.
It
I don't know
does
what
it.
a real dragon looks like, but my best guess is it looks like the dragons on Game of Thrones. Those dragons are so great.
Two-
And I love our new underbite dragon too that like can't be tamed and all that shit.
Sheep
I just
stealer?
sheep stealer. He's one in the book. He was my favorite dragon because he really is like an old dragon that like
Oh, really?
basically has never been ridden and he's wild and he's basically like fuck off. And now he's amongst all these dragons that have been like trained and like raised by these royal families and stuff.
Oh, wow.
So he's like you saw he's got chaotic energy.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, yeah.
But I love the dragons. Like I love the characters of the dragons, and I always feel bad when we lose one. So yeah, this episode was sad for that reason. But in true Game of Thrones fashion, they stage those deaths in these awkward rhythms that just really make you feel crazy when a character gets killed.
Yes.
The death at the end of this episode just felt so crazy and then sudden. You know, it's like it kept coming and coming and coming, and then when it's over so suddenly, I just thought that was chilling. What happens to that guy?
I saw a oneer that I'd never seen before. You know, I love a oneer. The spinning one. The one where the guys are boarding the ship and it's like they're fighting from all these angles and the camera's just on a slow spin
Like a
the whole
gimbal.
time. Yeah, like a gimbal. It's like fwah, fwah, and then go to the next person. That was amazing. I don't know what it was a lot of like innovation, I feel like, to the way they were shooting that stuff. And you're right, like I don't know how they did the dragon in the water scene. I don't know what they did to make it look like something was present in the water and
Like
bleeding out.
what was built and what was
Yeah.
yeah. Because I don't know if they do anything with animatronics, but I think they do have something that they use for some physical something. But I don't know how much of a sculpture it is and how much it's just like a green thing or whatever.
Yeah, we're watching stuff in 4K now. Like it's like, you know, those sharp TVs, those scenes are really, really zoomed in. I don't know how they made that look the way that they did when that dragon had the incident that it had, but like I'd never seen anything like that before. I was like, what am I looking at? Like it just, you know, it keeps getting better. Like you're saying, like you're watching these animals in the sky and it looks so damn real. They've gotten used to the lighting of it all and it just looks like they're there. Like it gets to the point where like the humans don't look like they belong there and the
Right.
the dragons belong there. Like what are the people doing there? It looks weird having humans beside these, but it looks so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Drama, tension is happening. This story's building. This war is getting brutal. Like I'm wondering what's next. But you're right. The beats to everything happening is not like anything I've ever seen. And this last one that happened was so weird because it's like, okay, it's like hope, and you're like, okay, cool. One layer of the hope. Let's get it. And then it's like, oh my God, like what? There's like a whole portion of a scene that they haven't showed you that just keeps it's probably within 20 feet, the whole scene. But because the camera's focusing on different things, you don't even see
Right.
half of it. It's genius, man. It's like really well filmed stuff. Um, I'm hooked. I'm ready. I'm ready to see what's gonna happen.
The thing about this show that's really interesting, and I feel like it both points out this show having this quality more, but it also almost allows this show to be what it wants to be a little more, is that now that we have Night of the Seven Kingdoms, and it's like maybe even going to be a yearly thing,
Yeah.
it allows this show to be this fucking march towards death and tragedy, which it is. As someone who knows the story from I mean, they're not adhering strictly to the way it was written in the kind of, because the book this is taken from is written less like a novel and more like a history book.
Right.
It's like
Oh, wow.
a bird's eye view. So it's written more like a page covers a lot of ground rather than taking chapters and chapters to cover that same ground in a novel. So they are able to fill in the details, and they've changed some things, and some things they've altered to the point where it's hard to know how they're going to do what's in the story in the book. And I'm not saying they've got to stick to the book. I'm just saying we all know with this stuff they do well when they stick to at least like the thread. Like their best stuff has been when they've stuck to what George R. R. Martin has written pretty closely most of the time.
Sure.
So there's a reason to believe this show will pay off what's in the book. It's like it's so bad. It's so bad. Everything that happens is so bad. And there's only a few little glimmers of light and characters that it's not like Game of Thrones where you sort of feel like, well, there's all these people you're kind of rooting for and all these other people who you sort of feel like their time is coming. This is all about like the end of a family. Like we're watching the end of the Targaryen.
That's
like,
what I was wondering. Yeah.
Ultimate reign of power. We're not watching like the beginning of a great era
A
for them.
rise.
And we also know that when we catch up with Game of Thrones, like 100 or 200 years later, whatever it is, um, the dragons are gone. So
Yeah,
it's like that
yeah.
tells you a little something about where this story is going. You don't even have that's not even a spoiler. That's just part of the lore. But like knowing what's happening coming up, it's like it's got that Shakespearean thing of like, oh, this person does this thing and this misunderstanding causes this, and now that that person has died, this person's going to do this, and they're not going to care that they're causing this person to get mad. It's like there's nothing that's stable, that like nothing's going to
Yeah.
hold, that you're watching anything these characters are trying to hold together. Is none of it's going to hold, and it's like that is such a downer story. But okay, now we've got Night of the Seven Kingdoms. If we want to root for good guys and like the way people are treating each other and all that stuff, I feel like it's a great thing for this show that show exists now, I guess is my point.
Sure.
Because now this show gets to, like, whereas I think before people were more likely to comment, this show feels a little dry, or this show feels a little serious or depressing compared to Game of Thrones, which had the Tyrions and the interplay between like the Hound and Arya and different stuff like that.
Yeah.
What's his name? Tormund creeping on Brienne. Like, it had all these funny things that made it feel sort of light. This show doesn't really have much of that or any of that. And, so Night of the Kingdoms is like 40% that. So I don't know. I just feel like it's cool that Game of Thrones is sort of proved, kind of, you alluded to this, Ronald. It's like it's proving that it can last. It's proving it's a lore that can expand and kind of outlive those last 2 years of the original series that people still talk about, but I feel like we're getting less and less concerned with the fact that Game of Thrones kind of ended with a whimper for a lot of folks. So,
Excuse me.
Bless you. Yeah,
Thank
no,
you.
I feel like the big thing too, like amongst like even the people I was watching it with, or especially the last season, like the feeling of like not a lot happening.
mm-hmm.
And the billing of like the fact, and even the trailers really suggesting that a lot is going to happen in this season. Like,
Yes.
especially scope, action, epic stuff that, Ronald mentioned a couple times. We've all kind of mentioned it, but like, I think that all is that you get all that in this first episode. You get the scale, you get the geography, lots of, almost to a dizzying degree, like, jumping right in and talking about the lands, and you seeing all these different families really quickly.
Yeah, they did not give you any sense of like a
Yes.
season break.
Yes.
This was meant to be part of last season if they hadn't shortened the episode order and kind of cut the budget a
Correct.
little. I was one of the rare people that I thought was like fine with the season ending the way it did last time. I think what I've said is that I didn't like knowing we were going to have to wait two years or whatever to get
Right.
back to it. But
Right.
I was almost, even knowing the story, I was even a little bit dizzied by how quickly they just threw us back in. I had to stop and think things through about a few characters and go, wait, who's doing what for who?
Right.
Right now.
No, totally. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, yeah. That's the thing about so many entities going against each other, and some of them you don't know where their loyalties lie necessarily, and it's pretty interesting. But
yeah.
yeah, it does cause you to watch. I mean, I guess that's kind of the cool part about it too. I'll watch the episode maybe twice, and then I'll watch a summary. And I'm like, I didn't know that was connected to that. All right.
No, it's
But
one of the
yeah.
few shows that I like when something Westeros related
Mm.
is
Yeah.
airing.
Yeah.
I get into the lore. I listen to whatever I can listen to. I find
Yeah,
the
yeah.
podcasts. I usually dig out one of my books and start reading it. I mean, I'm always glad when it comes back around. It's like it's a world that I really like to visit, and I think they've kept it special. They've kept it going, but they haven't done what a lot of franchises have done and made it so that it feels like, oh shit, another Game of Thrones thing.
Right, right.
They haven't really burned us out on it. And I also think it's smart. This show is headed for a 4-season run. There's so much more in the book they could do. I will tell you guys, without saying anything, I'm really not clear on where they end this, because some of the things they've set up require some kind of a time jump to fully resolve. And it's
Mm.
hard to know if they're really setting those things up or if they're just nodding to them because they're part of the lore. But where this show ends is a total mystery to me. Even knowing they're doing 4 seasons and they're roughly taking on this battle, this interfamily battle that's happening, that's the story, the Greens versus the Blacks. Um, but I'm not clear on it. I'm not clear. Like, knowing what I know, I don't know where you end it unless you have like an epilogue episode that jumps forward through time and gives us some of that historical perspective. Because there's some things that would be coming that would be the perfect conclusion to this story, but I don't see how they do that. You know, there's certain
Mm.
characters that it's like once this character goes or that character goes, I kind of feel like this show winds down. Um, and I don't want to say who I think those characters are, but it's similar to the way The Boys is like, oh, if you resolve the story of Butcher and Homelander, you've kind of resolved the show. You know,
Right, right, right.
there's not a whole lot of story left for a couple of major characters on this show. So I'm really curious what they do. And it's like, that to me is fascinating because it's one of the few things that's fictional that in my mind, it's almost like real history just because George R. R. Martin has written so much detail into this
Mm.
world. So yeah, great show. It's weird that it's underrated.
It is kind of, right?
Yes, yeah, yeah. Because people are so used to the I guess the main story that there are more people that haven't gone and watched these side stories as opposed to you know the one that people know to be the main story. It's kind of a shame. Like I think that the controversy of the first show really did leave a weird feeling in people's mouths. I don't agree with the way that people just kind of threw the thing away because of kind of the speed of the last season, but they're lost.
Yeah.
They're lost because this show is amazing.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm glad it's back for sure.
So what
What else we
else has
got?
anyone watched?
Worched.
Did you go see anything, Ronald?
No, no. I wanted to see Supergirl, but I did not see it yet.
I was able to see Supergirl yesterday.
Oh, ay Dios mío.
And it was very funny. Um, did not know that we were going to the same screening, but 2 seats away from me and my family was Bob Rose and like three of his friends that go to see early screenings of movies a lot too.
That's funny.
So I was able to catch the it was like not the pre-sale screening, but like the early fan screening or something.
Oh,
Okay.
cool.
Anyway, but it was just a regular screening. They had trailers and stuff, so it wasn't like a preview event or anything. I really liked it. I mean, it's a good movie. I don't. The sad thing is, I don't think it's going to shift the narrative some people have built in their head, like the sort of haters of the gun DCU are going to. I don't think it's going to shut up those haters,
Mm,
but they did a great job of setting up. I mean, like Millie Alcock is great. Back to kind of bridge off of House of the Dragon, she's great
Yeah.
as Supergirl. Jason Momoa as Lobo is sort of perfect. It just kind of works in the movie. Crypto is still cute as shit. Um, I mean, I don't know if you guys are planning on seeing it before we record another episode. I might just hold more specific thoughts for that. But my general review is it's a great setup for those characters. Now Lobo and Supergirl exist in this universe that we've already seen established.
Yeah.
The story is very straight ahead. What it is, it's a good story. Again, there's criticisms people are going to have of this, and there's stuff that I would say about it, but I don't want to tip you guys off to any of those story points if you are going in somewhat pure. Yeah, there's a lot to say I think about it as like what it points to for the DCU, but
Mm.
if you kind of compare it to like the start of the MCU and go, oh yeah, somewhere in there they made the first Thor movie and they made the Ed Norton Incredible
mm,
Hulk and they had to kind of get these characters going. I think this movie is more successful than that for me,
Okay.
but it's kind of in that vein of
mm,
like I was watching it feeling the way I felt back. I was like, oh, this reminds me of those Marvel movies, those middle of the pack Marvel movies where I was enjoying myself and it was great and I loved the character, but I also knew like this is not going to be the movie that sells people who don't like these movies.
Right,
However,
right.
there's a difference now. It used to be that the people who don't like these movies were like people that were tired of superhero movies. I think now the polarity has shifted. I think people who don't like this movie are going to be more tilted toward that fan base that runs certain Star Wars shows off the air and that complains about James Gunn's Superman. So I think word of mouth could be good for this movie. I unfortunately I don't know if word of mouth is going to be great, which is what I think this movie needs coming off of a first weekend that a lot of people think is going to be a little soft. I think this movie needs really really great word of mouth
Mm.
to feel like it's a success. But will it make back its money enough for DC to think this was a success? And now we've launched another character and we've got all this stuff going on. I mean, who knows what they're expecting? They also have Clayface coming in the fall, and that movie costs like $5. So like, I'm just saying, I think they have a couple more things coming that they're not probably going to be scared rabbits if this movie doesn't take the world by storm. But it is a little weird that it's got like zero hype going into
Dude,
it.
seriously,
Yeah.
really, zero is a good. It's weird. It's very odd. Um,
But it's a good movie. It's like if this had not been in the era of too many superhero movies, you would just think this was a cool, interesting way to do a Supergirl movie. And again, I'll stress the character comes off great, and a lot of the action works. I will say this: the needle drops are not very good.
oh no.
I did not like the music in this movie.
Mm. I
And there
heard
were a
the
couple.
villain was terrible. Was that true?
Well, if we're gonna go there, I think that he's a good villain for a. You know what he reminds me of? He kind of reminds me of Ronan in, or that was his name in the first Guardians movie,
Right,
Ronan.
right, right. Yeah, it
You
was
know,
one.
the villain's not the focus. The villain is like a bad guy. You want
Right, right.
you unquestionably hate this guy. What he's doing is, in fact, what the villains are doing in this movie is so grim that it's almost too grim to not deal with in a more grim, serious way. So they just can't deal with the villains much because what they're doing is so awful. Like it involves like you know, sex, like abducting young girls into sexual slavery. I
Oh
mean,
my
it's
God.
horrific. So they can't really deal with that. You can't like cut to the villains and like have them be knuckleheads who are saying funny shit or anything. Do you know
Yeah,
what I mean? Because what
yeah.
they're doing is so grim. Um, and I think that kind of hurts that part of the movie. But I don't think he's a bad villain. I just I heard someone say this isn't a villain movie, and it's true. It's more about that whole thing of should you want revenge, and what does that mean? And then
Mm.
like there's actually kind of a fun thing going on there with what Supergirl is saying for the whole movie, and then what she does. Um, but you know, it's also a John Wick story because she's trying to get revenge for something bad that happens to her dog.
Our dogs.
So
Mm.
so it's in that sense again. I feel like I'm getting too into specifics. I don't want to blow my load. That's a gross thing to say on this segment. But like when we talk about it, we'll talk about it more in full. I think that like the movie had a tough problem based on all the stuff that it's trying to do. I think they did a pretty good job of threading the needle of all the stuff they're trying to do. But in the end, it could have been more of a revenge story, and that would have hit hard. Or it could have been more of a "this guy hurt my dog" kind of thing, and that would have hit hard. And it could have been more of a origin story, and that could have hit hard. But instead, it's doing all that,
Mm.
and so it's not like oh none of it works. It's like all of it works, but it doesn't feel like I don't know. Some of those big moments feel like they could have landed with more impact, and it might have been that better needle drops would have helped. I don't know, but it's like that's my one feeling is that this movie was really good when it's got the makings of something really great. So,
Cool.
but it's not the disappointment that some of the reviews, at least not in my opinion. I don't think it's the like people are writing about it like it's barely competent, and it's not. And also, Craig
Yeah.
Gillespie is a director. We know from his movies he's made, he's good with actors and characters, and I think that's one of the things that really shines in this. There's some good human moments in it. So
Cool.
Supergirl.
Let's see. What did I see? I watched Over Your Dead Body.
Oh, I saw that too. What'd you think?
I really liked it. Um, I love Timothy Oliphant. I always
I was
have,
about to
always
say
will. It's
he's so
like,
good.
what a stud. Uh, I don't know. Yeah, I liked it more than I thought I would. I heard some mixed stuff about it. I think maybe it kind of brought my expectations down a little bit, and I'm kind of late to seeing it. But like I like the original film it's based on. We've talked about that in the past on the podcast. But like, uh, Yeah, I don't know. I just found it really entertaining, and I like Jason Segel, Samara Weaving. Also saw another movie that Samara Weaving was in, Caroline. Was it Caroline Caroline?
Caroline, Caroline. How was it?
Uh, that was also really good. I mean, like she's on a bit of a tear. Kyle Gallner's in that one. That's the other one I was going to mention, having seen. But yeah, Over Your Dead Body is like it's good. It has like a nice little fun bit with the some of the comedy in it's really fun. Like the Harry Potter references I really thought were funny. Uh, but yeah, no, I thought it was way more enjoyable than I thought I was going to, just because I'd heard some kind of like mixed negative on it. But did you like it, John?
Yeah, I did. I think for me, by the time it got to the end, I was like, oh, I'm enjoying this, but I'm like, it was just so like, I mean, it was funny how violent and grim it was
Yeah,
in that
yeah, yeah,
sense.
yeah.
Or like not grim, but like just how like gross, I guess, the violence was. But also as a comic punctuation. And there's one moment in that movie that got really crazy when they're like, it's talking about sexual assault. There's a really
Oof.
crazy scene in that.
Yes.
Um, but I feel like I don't know. I think with a lot of like, oh, how dark can you make this comedy movies? I have that sort of feeling of I like this, I enjoyed it, but I'm almost like fully exhausted by the time it gets to the end of like,
Sure.
oh my gosh. And I think the best examples of the really dark comedies, like we watched War of the Roses, like they find some way to modulate the tone so that there's like escalation and you're not just going, oh man, this is just like so deeply unpleasant to be around these people. And I think this movie, you kind of said it, what really works that keeps you going is that cast. Like they
Yeah.
really are great. And Timothy Olyphant has some great moments in it. And Jason Segel, it's fun to see him play a guy who's like a little bit more of a shithead and an asshole than we normally have seen. I
Definitely.
mean, the premise that they're both, planning to kill each other is sort of like tells you all you need to know about them. So, um, and yeah, she's great. I mean, I honestly, I think back to the days when I confused her with Margot Robbie, and I feel bad because she does have her own thing going on, but she is
Sure.
also similar enough. She does like
So
play roles
much.
that Margot could have played. Um, but yeah, I think Timothy Olyphant was kind of my main takeaway. Also, Juliette Lewis is pretty darn funny in this too. So
Yeah, she's having a bit of a like she's in that. And she's has a role in the new Cape Fear show too.
yeah, I haven't watched
Um,
that yet.
but no, yeah, I definitely like that movie quite a bit. Like again, I don't know why I started kind of coming down on it. I guess because I got to it late. But the trailer I thought was great, and I love everybody involved with it. You are Motocone, and I don't know,
Yeah,
just everybody in it was like, what a cool cast,
no, it's
and it was
really
a
well
pretty cool
directed in
movie.
that sense. Like the
Yeah, for sure.
tone, I think I was wondering if he could branch out and do a tone that wasn't kind of spoofy almost feeling,
Hmm.
because I think hasn't it's been generally hasn't most of their output
Yeah, for the most
been a
part.
little bit, you know what I mean? But I feel like he struck a good comic tone. Almost reminded me of like a Frank Oz movie with that kind of misanthropic approach where you realize, oh, I'm not supposed to like any of these people.
Correct. Correct. Yeah.
Or Barry Sonnenfeld or someone like that makes a movie where like the camera's kind of whipping around and it's doing, it's just a bunch of assholes killing each other.
Um, anything
I
else?
think that's it.
No, I think that's it for me too. I
I
gotta
will
get to
just
the
say I
theater.
finally started watching uh, uh, Maximum Satisfaction Guaranteed, and that's what's got me pretty well hooked after two
It's
episodes.
maximum pleasure, right?
I'm watching a different one.
Oh, you got like a access to a new one. Yo, I
Yeah.
forgot. You're John Walker.
No, yeah, Maximum Pleasure Guaranteed. I mean, I started watching it weeks ago, but never finished the first episode, and then I finally got back into it, and then I
Cool.
started like, well, I kind of
Cool.
was like, oh, I need more time, I think, because I could totally binge that now. It's a pretty engrossing story. I couldn't remember if it was you, which one of you it was that said you'd been watching it.
Yeah. That was a great show. I wish I saw Jake Johnson in more things. I know he's got that new Apple TV movie coming out next month called Dink. Saw a
Mm-hmm.
trailer for that this week, like about pickleball. But seeing him in the bits that he has for this one for Maximum Pleasure was really good.
Oh, speaking of trailers, I guess this will be a good note to end on. I think it's just because I saw it in the theater last night, and it is hilarious to see it in the theater because it's just so Tom Cruise being Tom Cruise, but the
Oh
hype
shit,
trailer
really?
for the trailer for Digger, which is like 2 or 3 minutes of Tom Cruise's baddest assed moments from his
Hmm.
movies, and like it's both ostentatious and narcissistic, and like you kind of roll your eyes at it, but as it keeps going on, you're also going like, God damn, has anybody else made this many giant
I think the
movies?
answer is no. The answer is
Like,
no.
as a movie star, is there a contemporary person who you could put in that box? And I just don't know. And it's like, so I'm watching it going, man, this is pompous, but it's also like, it's also kind of setting up the gag of what the fuck is this movie that he's doing now, and what
And
is
they're
this
being
crazy
so like
character?
so intentional to like not show the face.
Right? Yeah,
Like they're not showing how ridiculous or crazy like he looks as this character because that's been widely reported,
yeah.
but
I
like
just don't
no
think I've
one
ever
has seen
seen
it.
anything like this, where they say like, we're gonna make a pre-trailer that hypes how awesome the actor is,
Right.
and this is like literally like a year or a year and change after the last Mission Impossible trailer. That was
Right.
essentially that same trailer, but for the Mission Impossible series. They even used the same line. Everything you've done before now has led up to this, you know, or
Yeah.
whatever. Like that. So I do feel like I heard chuckles. That group of Bob and his friends down the aisle from me. I heard chuckles at that trailer, and I feel that way too. But it's joy. It's joy at being like a movie fan. Like we all, if you're a movie fan, you have some kind of relationship with Tom Cruise. You know, like he's
Yeah.
made something that you think is great. So it's, I just think he's. We've talked about it many times how there just aren't that many movie stars anymore, and
Yeah.
I guess he's, even though he doesn't have quite the box office draw that he used to, he still is one of the few people that you can say like he just might make some giant swing that blows people away. So
Yeah. Very cool that you saw it in theater. Yeah, I was curious.
yeah,
It's um all right, guys. I think that's an episode. Again, John, your choice.
Saloom,
Saloom.
Saloom.
Uh next week for required viewing. Movieschmovie.com is the website. You can go there to listen to the episode, subscribe to the podcast on whichever platform you prefer, and youtube.com/movieschmovie podcast is the video, audio, shorts, longs, the home cut, all of it is on the YouTubes. So go there, hit subscribe, hit the bell so you get notified so you don't even have to think about it. It'll just tell you. Ah, technology. Um, thank you so much for listening. As always, you made our day. Thanks.
Bye. I, I'm exhausted, man. I'm like, for some reason, well, I have to get up at 5 every day. That's what it
I
is.
was saying it's probably
Yeah,
not some reason. I think you probably know, right?
Yeah.
yeah. I have to
It's
get up
very
around
clear
that
what the
time to
reason is.
take Nikki to the train station, and it's like, yeah, these days get long sometimes, where you're just like, whew. When you stop and think about how long you've been up, you're like, well, damn, I'm
Yeah.
supposed to sleep at some point.
Yeah. Yeah, it's well, guys, I gotta get out of here,
Yeah.
man.
All right,
Um,
Ronald.
All right, buddy.
yes.
Take
All
it easy,
right.
fellas. See ya.
Good night.
Good night.